Hey, my name is Brent here on Cloudy with a Chance of Meeples. Today on the channel, we are going to be looking at the second and final expansion to Canvas. This one is Finishing Touches. Canvas, a game that I love a lot. It was one of my favorite games from last year. It's in my top 25 games of all time. And this one introduces a couple new things, some new icons, as well as some new frames. And you're going to want to be getting your paintings into these frames to score the most points. Let me show you what you get inside of Finishing Touches. I will say that this is the deluxe edition. I'll speak on the deluxe components as well as just the base retail version of this and let you know my thoughts on what you get in both the deluxe and retail. So let me show you what you get and how this expansion works. My final forecast coming up. Cue thunder. So the radar overview for Canvas Finishing Touches looks something like this. If you don't know how to play Canvas, this is going to be a confusing overview, but there's a link in the description of this video to show you how to play Canvas and our review of Canvas. So check that out and then come back here and you will find out if Finishing Touches is something that you need to or want to add to your collection. This is the deluxe edition, but what I have set in front of me, besides these, is what you get, I believe, in the retail edition. I'll show you what you get in the deluxe edition after, but you'll also get this in the retail score pad, and this is just an extra board to put on top of the reflections board, or if you're just playing base game, you don't have reflections, you can put this on the side of the playmat. And so then this will show you how many points you get for gold and platinum ribbons. And speaking of platinum ribbons, you get platinum ribbons. These are the wooden version, but you get the normal cardboard version in the base game, or the base, I guess, retail version of the expansion. You get some more backgrounds. You get more scoring objectives. And much like kind of all the other ones, they have all the clarifications on the back. And if you shouldn't be using it with a certain one, so for instance, irregularity, he says you need odd number of all those. It's not recommended to play with consistency because those are kind of at odds with one another. As, well, that would make sense. Irregularity, consistency, they're opposite. So you get more of these, add these in, more variety in your gameplay. You get these, I'll speak on momentarily because this is kind of the major thing in this expansion. And then you get a whole bunch of new cards, and if you can spot that, you can see two new icons. Look at that, little TV with legs. You can spot a couple new icons, and that's because they have creativity as an icon, and the other one is a blend icon. So this blend icon, whatever's in the red, will then be blended into the yellow. So if I had this, I'd have three of these icons. Whereas, let's say I had this, I could have three of those. One of this little wild, which to be totally honest, I can never remember what these icons actually, their terminology is. But these stars are wilds. So I can attach it to any one of these different one of the major four icons. So they just give a little bit more versatility in the game. But how do these frames work? Well, anytime you put a picture or a painting in one of these frames, so if it was my turn and say I throw this one in here, I would, as soon as I put a painting in here, I gain one of these platinum ribbons. They're worth 4 points at the end of the game. Also, whoever's painting is in this frame at the end of the game will get 2 points. So it's bringing in area control. And for this one, you need to have, well, this one would actually be a bad example. I'd have to put it into this one. And I will say I can't even get it into this one. I think some of the sleeves or some of the frames don't fit properly. So a little bit of a production issue. I don't know if it's just my copy or all of them, but I had a hard time with this. Putting these sleeves into, I think all of them. I think this is the only one they really fit in nicely. But the most of the square plus stars. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 4. So in order, I really don't want to wreck my sleeves here. I'd put that in there. I'd get one of these platinum ribbons. At the end of the game, if mine is still in here, Bright Knight, I would get 2 points. But if you or an opposing player would make a painting with more than 4, it would pretty much boot mine out. They would put theirs in. They would get a platinum ribbon, and then they would get the 2 points at the end of the game if it's still in there. So you have one of the, a frame with all the 4 icons, and so it kind of just brings in more interaction, kind of more area control. Whoever can control these frames will gain more points at the end of the game. So that is what you get in this expansion, and so that's what this is. In the deluxe edition, you'll get a few more of these painting cards. You will also gain some signature style cards. These are just, special ability, not special abilities, secret scoring. So 2 points per humanoid. And so all the humanoid art cards are listed there. And if I would have used this as an example, achievement. This one would have given me 2 points at the end of the game. And then they also have the painter variant. These are just player powers per se, and they just give every player just a little special thing that they can do. So, if this is yours, take an art card for free, a one-time use. Your silver ribbons are worth 3 points instead of 2 points. If you spend 4 or more inspiration, you gain a silver ribbon. You may have up to 6 cards in your hand. You start with extra inspiration. You can make a 4th painting. And so there's a whole bunch of different ones that you can, discover and explore how they work if you have the deluxe edition. But this is what you get in the base retail, I guess you'd call it, the retail version of Finishing Touches. So there you have it. That's what you get in this expansion. Let's now move on over and take a look at the final forecast. So the final forecast for Canvas, Finishing Touches. Canvas, a game that I absolutely love. Base game, gave it a 90% Chance of Meeples. Reflections also gave 90% Chance of Meeples. And so what are my thoughts on Finishing Touches? Let's dive in. In this one, you get more cards. Who doesn't want more transparent cards that stack on each other to make different patterns? This, like the base game, this is a pattern building game, and this just gives more variety. I believe you only use like 70 in a game, and I don't know, you get another 35, 40 in this. With the few extra in the deluxe edition, you're getting a whole bunch of just more variety. I don't want to say more replayability, because I think games are often replayable. This is just more variety. Okay, you have new icons. You have the creativity icon, which acts as a wild, so that gives you a little bit more to think about. It has the brushstroke icon, and then so you can double up some of the icons as well as the scoring. I love that. That brushstroke, 2 points for, or like one of those silver ribbons for every triangle. You double that, you get 2 for every triangle. If you can get, 2, maybe even 3 triangles in your painting, that can become quite lucrative. Those brush strokes and those wilds will help you do some of the objective cards, which there are more objective cards, which again, just adds to more variety in your gameplay. Just like Reflections and the base game, the clarifications on the back of all of the scoring objectives. You play with 4 each game. You're playing with new people. They have questions. How does this one score? You just flip it over. It gives an answer, an example of how it would score and how it wouldn't score on the back. Absolutely fantastic. Just like all of the Canvas experience, all the game, base game and Reflections expansion, just so streamlined, just trimmed all of the things that were unnecessary to this just very easy to learn, easy palatable. That's the word. Yeah. I think that's what I'm thinking of. Just easy to digest, just really streamlined. It's got new ribbons, so that's where these picture frames come into play. You want to get your paintings in these frames because A, you get 4 points every time you do, and you get 2 points at the end of the game. I love it. I didn't share in the radar overview, but you can replace yours with yours. So, if I'm the first one to a specific one, I only have 1 or 2 icons in there, no one else bumps me out, I can go bump my own out and gain another platinum ribbon. And so I like the area control aspect of these frames. It kind of brings in just interaction. If you play Canvas a bunch and you're like, hey, I want more, it's kind of just like multiplayer solitaire. The only thing I have to worry about is someone taking my painting card. This will bring more interaction because you want to get those platinum ribbons. They're 4 points each, and if you get your painting in at the end, it's another 2 points. So if you can, have all 3 of your paintings in 3 out of the 4, you're gaining 6 points, and you're negating your opponent's those points. And so that will appeal to some players. I didn't find I necessarily needed that, but I think it's a nice added touch. Finishing touches. It makes sense. I feel this expansion just brings all of Canvas together. And it's fitting how it's called finishing touches because I feel this adds a finishing touch to this game. I don't know about you, but I feel sometimes games have too many expansions. And I'm not picking on any specific game because I'm a big Everdell fan, and Everdell has 5 expansions alone. But sometimes expansions just add more and more and more, and just more things to process and more things to set up and tear down and all that stuff. And sometimes expansions aren't necessarily good for a game. Finishing touches, I think it is a good expansion to wrap up Canvas as a whole because the base game is amazing. Second one, Reflections, brought those double-sided cards. It also added more scoring objectives and new ways to score the cards with the golden ribbons. And now they add the area control and the platinum ribbons and a few new icons. And I feel that it just wraps it up and puts a nice bow on it because it adds a little bit of depth each time, but it doesn't bog the game down. You still only can have 5 cards in your hand unless you have one of those special abilities, which I'll speak on momentarily. And so it adds more icons, it adds more ways to score, but it doesn't add more cognitive load into how big your hand size is. And I think that's a very important thing in a game like this because you have to build a painting when you have 5 cards. So yes, you can have broader brush strokes, which these are terrible puns now that I think about it, but you can open things up a little bit, but you still have parameters. And I think that's a testament to a good design in Canvas in general. I'm just looking at my notes. I enjoyed this expansion. I do not enjoy this expansion as much as Reflections. I personally, the area control, as much as some will absolutely love it, I don't think it necessarily needed it, but I can see why it just wraps it all together. So I'm giving this expansion 75% Chance of Meeples. I don't think it's an essential one. And I don't think it's essential that you get the upgrades either. If you only have the base game, I think you have a lot more good content in that retail edition. I have the deluxe edition, so I have the painter variant. There's 12 different painters, and they each give you a little bit added bonus, an added special ability. I don't think they are like, wow, this is like really going to change the game on how I played, because I haven't felt that in my plays. I've played with about half of them. Nicole's played with a bunch of them as well. I haven't played with all 12, so I cannot speak to every single one of them. But in the plays that I have played, I've been like, hey, that's cool. That's a cool special ability. Hey, I can get the first and second card for free. Hey, that seems pretty powerful. Hey, my silver ribbons are worth 3 instead of 2. Hey, that's pretty cool. It's not earth-shattering. It's not like groundbreaking, anything like that. And so if you don't have the deluxe edition, don't fret. Just the retail one, you get a good bang for your buck. So there you have it. To me, 75% Chance of Meeples for finishing touches. It just paints a lovely picture, much like Canvas has since the first time I played it. It's a good expansion. I don't think it's an absolutely great expansion or like you need this expansion. If you only have the base game, I think you have a lot of content. If you have Reflections as well, I think you have a lot of content there as well. If you just want more cards and more variety, well, there you go. Get finishing touches. But those are my thoughts on this second and final expansion to Canvas. My name is Brent. Until next time, grab your umbrella. The forecast is cloudy with a chance of meeples.